Well, the Harry Potter series has decided to jump into the whole Wokatorium, and Snape has entered into the fray. That's right. If you'll believe it, if you'll believe it. We have a situation here where we're looking at Harry Potter is deciding to just make Snape black, or once he was white. Now, if memory recollects me right, I believe that the Harry Potter series author J.K. Rowling is part of the show, is a consultant, and there was all kinds of hullabaloo about HBO using. So the author of this is actually involved. So therefore, this is bait. This be bait. This be bait. This be marketing bait. I think in this case it's marketing bait, and I think that I think it's a bad form to basically allow, let's just say, allow clowns to represent your best arguments, especially when clowns use those best arguments in situations in which it is highly inappropriate. And I tell you, your enemy, your quote enemy, because I don't think they're much of an enemy as you imagine they are, is more than happy to give you a stage and give you some bait to come after. I've done similar things in my life in the past where you know that some simpleton ogre is given over to some manic reaction to some certain perceived type of, let's just say, offense. And so you set them up so that you know you're going to trigger them and they act like a clown. And it negates the whole argument against you. So what I'm interested in is Mr. H is, of all the folks in the sphere of what you would say if you're listening to your boy Zach, these are the birthday party club. I'm not saying I agree with that phrase or not agree with that phrase, but I'll say the birthday party crowd. And if you believe that monster, Mr. H kind of runs in that orbit, but I would say he has been kind of much more balanced than all the rest of them, so that I have a hard time putting him in that category. And I have not heard this. I tell you the truth. And I just wanted to listen to what Mr. H's take is on the race off. And you heard my take right from the start. Let's see if he changes my mind, or if he agrees with me, or if he falls down a very short well that nobody's thrown pennies in. Whatever. Pennies, I guess. Pennies for fucking. Okay, that's it.
HBO has officially race swapped Snape for the Harry Potter TV show. This is obviously just dumb. It's subversive. And it's just, I don't know, it's just, yeah, it just makes me shrug and go, I'm not interested now. And I'm not going to be interested in this. Because this is a subversive decision. It's not categorically not
subversion in art?
Trying to stay true to the books, which is what they should be doing.
Wait a second, I'm sorry. Subversive. Art, subversive. Those two things actually go together. I don't know. I don't think that there's anything. I mean, it is subversive, and I think it's kind of just fringe marketing, and it's also subversive in that it's intended to, I think, undermine the whole anti-woke argument in general, and these folks are falling for it. And I would say, okay, I don't know where he's going with this, but so far, Mr. H, let me just say right here that I for one, I'm not a huge Harry Potter fan. I did like when the first few movies came out, CGI was still new, and their CGI was pretty much neato. And so I was into CGI neatos. It didn't matter the plot, or I didn't care. I just wanted to see CGI neatos. And they did neatos in spades, and I'm very happy about that. So other than that, I could care less. And so for me, what my interest be in the HBO Harry Potter series, probably pretty low. My chances of watching it, probably pretty low. But I don't know if I liked the Harry Potter series, making Snape black wouldn't mean a thing to me, even if they meant it to be subversive. There's a show that I love called Strangers with Candy, and in Strangers with Candy is, well, you could argue in essence, it's pretty woke. It's made in the 90s, and it is the story of a 47-year-old dropout who finally is getting her back together. 47 or 42, and she's in there, and she's hitting on she's hitting up high school kids. She's bisexual. Everything is sexually free, and any type of conservative type, traditional or Christian or any type of those family type values, they're made fun of throughout, and it's relatively speaking pretty woke, but it puts comedy above the message. So I love Strangers with Candy, and I still love Strangers with Candy. I can love woke. If woke puts entertainment above woke, but it's still woke, I don't know. There's just so many things out there that, because of my particular worldview being, basically, I'll just say I'm a Christian and leave it at that. And even that alone, in and of itself, means most of my entertainment does not agree with my values. I don't agree with the philosophies, worldviews, politics of hardly anything that I consider entertaining. So for me, I don't know. I think I'm gonna give you a chance here, buddy. But so far, I'm thinking you're following the bait, and this is an unnecessary reaction to bait. In this case, unless I'm wrong, and maybe she's not involved, I'm pretty sure she is. And if she's involved, dude, it's her thing. Whatever.
And those going, yeah, but the books are, predominantly white. Yeah. There's a reason for that, guys.
Cheers.
The UK is predominantly white. Unfortunately, it's not going to be in like a decade or so, but it is predominantly white. When this was written, it was predominantly white. It doesn't need to be updated for the modern age,
Why is it unfortunate? I don't get that. Don't get me wrong. I'm not in favor of the mass planvasion going on in England, where it's not really just a matter of race, it's a matter of culture. And so British culture is dying itself, which is far more of a taxing problem than whether that British culture is predominantly white or anything else. Like, I'm not particularly wedded to preserving any one race, and I'm absolutely not in favor of hastening its demise either. So I would very much want the mass migration to end, and I would want most of the people that they brought in to be sent back to where they came from. I'm all for that, but it has nothing to do with any type of, we must preserve the white race. Even as a Christian, I am not called to preserve races. The one race that matters most is actually not the human race. It's the race within the human race, not the Christian race, as I see it. So that's the race I want to preserve, and that race comes in all shapes, sizes, colors, flavors, denominations. So let's continue on.
Books can be a snapshot. Media can be a snapshot of our history. To change that is dumb. It's really, really, really dumb. Also, Snape was described in the...
Snape is not a part of history. He's a fictional character. And I've seen characters radically... oh my gosh, I can't think of it. Suck. Well, listen, Batman has taken on many changes throughout his thing, and I'm not really hung up on the race thing so much. Like, if you change the race, even if I know it's subversive, if you change the whole character of a character that you like, and so you could have Batman, he could be black skin, and still be, if he's true to the range of Batmans that have been, I guess, and even if he adds some element to it, he doesn't take away the key element of Batman. And I'm no comic book expert, but in essence, the key element of Batman is that he's well, he's wealthy, so he's a man of means. So in that sense, he's not an everyman, but in another sense, in terms of him, his physicality is just an everyman. He's a normie. He just has wealth, but he represents benevolent wealth, a belief that there is within the halls of power a few wealthy subversives willing to put it all on the line. So there's that element to Batman. If you lose that element, I think you lose some key parts of him. And then, the more key part really is that he's a human being that uses, in essence, he's believe the science guy. It's science, math, logic, reason. It's, he's a detective, and he's able to manipulate the material world, and that alone is it enables him to overcome mystery, overcome supernatural. In a sense, you could say Batman might even represent the I'll say the enlightenment that sought wisdom from human thought, human logic, reason, as opposed to what came before it. It's just a power that is and comes from outside, and it's just mystery in and of itself. But even those superpowers, then they develop their own math, logic, reason, and rules of engagement. When you violate that, it makes for bad art. But anyway, Batman, if you change that particular element of Batman, if you change those two particular elements, which really that the benevolent, wealthy, subversive within power gives us little hope that our masters might be a few within. Trump is like a Batman in that sense. Trump is really bad, for better or for worse. Some of you think he's the Joker, but he is not. He's very Batman. That's one of the reasons why he's so popular, and one of the reasons why Batman. But anyway, so if they take Snape and they turn this Snape, I'm no a Snape expert, but my general sense of Snape is he's kind of like he's got his own set of rules, but he has his set of rules, and he seems like he's on nobody's side. You might even think he's if you're he's a critical impediment. He might seem like he's against you all the time. No, he has his own standards, and his standards are ultimately not evil. So that kind of I don't know. If you change that type of element within him, that probably might pick people off. But he's generally within the frame of the Snape that we understand from the books, and his skin happens to be black. I just personally, I don't see the issue, even if they intend it to be. In my faith in Christianity, it's often said what Joseph's brothers are asking him, please don't kill us, because we did kind of threw you to the Midians and told you off to basically end up in prison for years. So our bad. And he was like, hey man, no sweat. What you meant for evil, God intended for good. And so, when Satan wants to do some subversive act, and ultimately you're like, so what? You just say, so what? And you nullify the effect. And what DEI wanted for evil can be used for good. So being less sensitive to color of people's skins in terms of what superheroes are, and can you have a black man play George Washington? I think you can. I think we can have any race play any character in history, especially if it's made clear in the history. We're not trying to make these characters look like. We're going to try to capture the true essence of the real people, but we're not trying to make them look like the real people. If we make that clear, then I think it would be great. Why shouldn't all Americans, be able to play George Washington, so to speak? Let's just not try to destroy somebody's whole life if they stand up and say, I disagree with that. I think that's one of the key differences.
The book as being white. A bit like, for those arguing about diversity, or arguing for diversity, it'd be like having Lawrence of Arabia just race swap to be a black man. Like, it's why? These things can be a snapshot of our history.
I could say, why not? On whose authority? I tell my daughter there are three phrases that are shut down phrases. These aren't absolutes. Not always going to shut down with this. It lets people, it takes it to the nub. Also lets people know this is where we're at. One of them is on whose authority. And can I think of the other two right now? The second one is I've said what I have said. And I can't think of the third one. If I think of the third one, I'll interrupt it. I've already done it. So, like I say, on whose authority? I have said what I have said is also, well, not valid here, but can't get that. That sucks.
History. Why does everything have to be modernized? It's dumb. But normally, well, I say normally, I would imagine that this will now sort of peter off through the entirety of the show, which means it's dead to me. I'm not interested in watching this. Because if this is how they're handling their casting, I'm not really going to be interested in the rest of the show.
For one cast decision, he is not going to be interested in. For one cast decision, he is not going to be interested in the show. I don't know, man. I don't know. I have to say, as a heterosexual, cisgendered, Christian, white male, I have grown a bit of a thick skin. And it takes a lot more to affect. People say awful stuff about me just because of this category that I either identify as or actually understand. So, I'm not sure.
Because it just signifies to me that HBO is interested in the rest of the show. Because it just signifies to me that HBO is still continuing down.
I don't know. I don't know if I want to listen to any more of this. I'm going to just listen to a little bit more, and then I think I might tap out. I was really hoping that Mr. H, I'm not expecting him to think or believe or do as I say, or any of you that, the 2 or 3 people that might happen to see this, to agree with me or all. But I think that this take is right in line with the birthday party clown narrative. Very simplistic, very, I'm just going to say cartoony, black and white, not really looking at the overall picture. And I'll also say strategically, is dumb. He's dumb. So I'm going to listen to just a little bit more. Let's see if he has any kind of buts or anything if this could work.
The DEI nonsense. Now, I'm not saying he was hired because of DEI, but there is casting done for a specific reason, and it's to meet criteria for funding, for award shows, for all these kind of things. And it puts people down as a checkbox. And that's what this is going to be. It's going to be a checkbox. It's just dumb. Stay true to the source material, right?
Okay. J.K. Rowling. Let me just see. Let me just second. This is worth dive. I don't trust my universe to reveal some secret like this or something. Say J.K. Rowling HBO series. Harry Potter. Okay. All right, Harry. I'm looking for if she is. Well, she's certainly getting paid, I'll tell you that. Fairly involved. Okay, good. I found some. If I could show this, I got this up here. Let's just show this. There you see that J.K. Rowling has been fairly involved in HBO Harry Potter series, but it hasn't affected the cast. This is, but do they need therapy because a woman who believes that women are women and men are men is might be involved in the series that is based on her writings. Oh boy, oh boy, oh. I mean, there's plenty of wokeness to absolutely ridicule and make fun of, as can be evidenced with just that title. So hey, I understand there is a real enemy out there, and they are some, and their ends are not at all aligned. I mean, well, here in America, they're not American ends. Anti-Americanists at heart. Their values are fundamentally not aligned with allowing individuals to steward their own preferences, beliefs, and basically allowing human beings to be wrong in public space and creating an environment where we can exchange value with one another without having like one. So let's just take a little bit more of this fine gentleman. Now, by the way, I just want to say for the record, Mr. H, if by some weird chance you see this, I got nothing against you. I disagree with this take. So I'm calling you kind of like you're falling down the birthday party clown line. And if I'm saying things which are maybe derogatory, it may seem like maybe you're a dim-witted half-wit, which I would think if this is all I saw of you. I know better. I know that you're very well formed, intelligent man, and I totally respect. Yeah, I'll say if this is all I knew about you, I would think, oh, this guy's a cartoon clown. I don't know what's going on here. I don't know if you're just feeding the algorithm. I don't know that you really come across as that kind of dude to me. So maybe you just something. Maybe it's because Snape is no longer with us, because Alan Rickman is no longer with us. Maybe that's why. And I don't know. I could understand it to some degree. I know I'm often lashing out and say stupid things, and I realize that my anger was real, but it's misdirected. Maybe that's what's going on here. I hope.
And this is the kind of logic that we end up with a bloody Spanish Snow White, where they have to then change her name, the origin of her name, because she was born on a snowy day. This is just pure retardation. It's really, really, really dim and dumb. Stop.
I don't know if Snape, who apparently in the literature, yes, he's mentioned as being has a pale pallor or whatever the words are used. So he probably was intending to be white originally, but so what? I don't know. So what? But it's not the same thing as Snow White, where her name really is about the color of her skin. We all understand that. And then we all have to, and we're all sick of playing the lying game, especially out of fear of being, facing the consequences of free speech. Oh no, free speech is fine, but freedom from consequences is also fine. We understand freedom from consequences is corporate and state action to assure that you are never heard from again. So we understand that. I kind of lost my train of thought.
Butchering products that are well loved for diversity's sake. It's just stupid. So anyway, we'll take a look at it.
I don't think that this is a butchering. Oh yeah, the he was saying that the Snape thing, and the Snow White, the Snape thing, that's just not a fair comparison, because Snape can be, you can see black people and look at them, especially if you know them. And you can say, "Wow, you look pale." You could be, and obviously, I'm not saying that J.K. Rowling was thinking that when she wrote it. I'm pretty sure she was thinking of a white guy. But I'm saying it's just not ridiculous. And heaven forfend that we ever do something that literature doesn't do. And again, I'm not saying he's not wrong that this is an act of subversion. I'm just saying I don't care. Subversion be darned. Embrace it. Embrace it. When your enemy, one of the best ways to negate an attack is to not respond. Yeah, that doesn't always work, because if you're not responding to an attack that legitimately messed you up, that's just cluelessness. That's just the end of your life. So but in general, it's a good rule of thumb to hold close to the vest.
This, hit subscribe if you're new here, guys. Do turn those bell notifications on.
Oh, I just listened.
So it says this Harry Potter
HBO
series officially race swap Snape.
That sales pitch because I'm
Snape, sorry.
No, but seriously,
Papa,
subscribe,
Paper,
like, share.
Esidu. I can't even say his bloody name. Finalising deal to become iconic J.K. Rowling character. So HBO's upcoming Harry Potter series has made a controversial casting decision, with Deadline confirming that Papa, Esidu...
Oh, he's just going to be reading the article. All right, I'll just leave. All right, so there you go. That's my big take. That, well, Snape being black, it ain't no 10. It ain't no 10. It don't mean no 10. It don't mean no 10. Just let it be. Let the series rise or fall on its own merit. Freedom, meritocracy. Doesn't matter the color of your skin. All that matters is, are you good? Are you good? Are you good? And that's all I've got to say. I don't even know what name I'm going to use. I'm going to be Freedom's Lunch. Use my real name, or I don't know. I kind of like people calling me Lunch, though. So, hey, man, lunch out. It's like Secret Stout. I'm gonna stick with it for right now. Lunch out.